The masseter muscle is quadrilateral in shape, covering the ramus of the mandible, and its deep fibres are vertical in their orientation. Whilst the superficial are oblique. The mandible can elevate the jaw to allow teeth to be clenched. Retrusion of a protruded mandible, so drawing it back. An ipsilateral excursion, which is moving the mandible to one side. The temporalis muscle is a fan-shaped muscle covering the temporal area, attaching across the side of the skull, and that goes over to the coronoid process of the mandible, which is this bit here. The borders of the muscle superiorly are the superior temporal line and the inferior temporal line running just below it. The temporalis fascia on the inside of the temporal, the frontal bone and frontal process of the zygomatic bone, and the zygomatic arch. The functions of the temporalis muscle are to maintain the resting tone when the normal mandibular position or maintain the normal resting mandibular position when it's upright. It also assists in elevation, which is biting, retrusion of a protruded mandible, and again, ipsilateral excursion, so pulling the mandible to one or the other side. Exactly the same functions then as the masseter muscle. The medial pterygoid muscle is just a mirror of the masseter muscle, but this time on the inside of the mandible. So it goes down, imagine this on the inside of the mandible, here and here, or up like this. The lateral or external pterygoid muscle is higher up, going from the temporomandibular joint over to the maxilla. Similarly, it has two heads of muscle going in slightly different directions. And that goes underneath the mandible and the zygomatic arch. Here I'm showing it on top, but it's actually underneath. And similarly, these muscles elevate the mandible to close the jaw and move the jaw from side to side. But uniquely, they protrude the jaw rather than just retract it. And the contralateral excursion, that's the moving of the jaw from side to side, is done by the medial pterygoid. Or the lateral pterygoid working on their own. All of the muscles of mastication, so the ones I've just covered, are supplied by the trigeminal nerve. There are numerous hyoid muscles of the neck. The geniohyoid, stylohyoid, thyrohyoid, crossing the thyroid gland. The thyrohyoid goes up to here, just on the sternothyroid below it. The sternocleidomastoid, you already know about. Superficial to the thyrohyoid and sternothyroid is the sternohyoid, which goes right across the top and is a single muscle. Omohyoid, from omo meaning shoulder. Digastric, between the cartilage of the hyoid bone and the chin. And the mylohyoid, which was covered in the muscles of the mouth, which covers the floor of the mouth, of the buccal cavity. The muscles beneath the hyoid, the infrahyoid group of muscles, act to depress the hyoid bone and larynx during swallowing. And the suprahyoid muscles, the ones above the hyoid bone that form the floor of the mouth, act to raise the hyoid bone and the larynx when the mandibles stabilise, which is the opposite of the infrahyoid muscles. And they can all contract together to depress the mandible in the case of opening the mouth.